Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Okay.
Hi. In the corporate world today, there's a lot of people who are taking microdoses of psychedelics like LSD, and they say that it enhances their clarity and improves their productivity. So I was just wondering what your thoughts on this and if it has any impact on the individual. Thank you.
People used to say, because of the way the corporations are functioning and growing, God save the world. But if this is happening, God save the corporates. Because if you're attaining to clarity, you're attaining to clarity because of chemical usage, all the best. It will come to you. Life will catch up. I think you should retire them by the time they're 35. Because even if it's very controlled chemical usage, athletes have been doing it for physical purposes. Some of the top US athletes have died before they're 40, you know? Olympic gold-winning athletes have died before they're 40. Actually, in their early 30s, many of them have died. Because chemically infused performance, physical or mental, it is going to cost. It is just that one thing they have forgotten is the greatest chemical factory on the planet is here. Huh? Yes or no? The most sophisticated and complex chemical factory on the planet is here. Because you're a lousy CEO, you are seeking outside help. Suppose the psychedelics are not available on the street because they're illegal anyway. They're not legal. Only marijuana is legal, that too only in 2 or 3 states. Rest is illegal stuff. Suppose there's a crackdown and it's not available, how is this corporate going to function with all fuzzy-brained whatever? I've been saying this, but people are not taking it lightly. Right now, there is a movement going on because now, which country? Thailand, is it? Thailand or Indonesia? Thailand, I think. Thailand declared marijuana is legal, is it? Is it Thailand? You're keeping in touch with all that, huh? Is it Thailand? Canada we know, in Asia I'm talking, I think Thailand. So now there is a small movement in India and of course, you can't start such a movement in Pakistan or Bangladesh because you will get killed. In India, there is a movement in the universities that marijuana should be legalized. I said, see, alcohol was illegal, This is a bootlegging state, moonshining state. But they made it legal because they couldn't control it. In every corner they were brewing here and there and making money and gunfights and stuff happening. So they thought, the government decided it's better, instead of somebody else making money, the government makes money. In Tamil Nadu, the excise revenue, the excise duty on the liquor, the earning for Tamil Nadu state, one state, is 33,000 crores. So will they give it away to somebody? So the government decided to make the profit. Of course, the healthcare industry also grew along with that. Now marijuana goes legal, it's just Wait for the maximum 15 to 25 years, cocaine will be legal. When they cannot control it, when it proliferates all over the place, government will decide, not because it's good for the citizens, that will be the talk, but essentially because there is money and somebody else is making the money, the governments will decide, let's make the money instead of somebody else making the money. So, you can be quite sure, if marijuana becomes legal 100% in the entire country, within 15 years' time or maximum 20 years' time, if it takes that long, I doubt it, cocaine will become legal. Of course, morning before you go to office, if you snort a bit, hey, don't laugh, you do it in a controlled way, you will be of course fired up and working hard and like nobody else. Yes or no, you will. Well, coffee is doing it, isn't it? If what cocaine is just 25 cups of coffee at a time. Yes, that's what it is. Caffeine is not any less than cocaine, a milder version. Well, some of the drinks like the Red Bull and there's another thing, what's that? Much more caffeine. What's that? Monster, is it? There have been many cases, after drinking these drinks, people have had heart attacks and died because it's just such a strong stimulant. It's like you're having many cups of strong coffee at a time. So, what to allow, what not to allow, there is no perfect judgment about this. But tobacco is still legal, but at least in America, people had the sense to campaign in such a way that at least nobody is blowing the smoke in your face anymore. And you're not feeling like not a complete man because you don't smoke. There was a time in 70s and 80s you felt like you're not an adequate male if you're not smoking. Inadequate you were feeling simply because you were not blowing smoke into somebody else's face. At least that got cured. So similarly, maybe cocaine will become legal and somebody will run a campaign and then, by then how much damage? How many people died of tobacco advertisements? Hello? Nobody counts. Because who is interested in the dead? Who's got the time for the dead? Once the funeral is over, we have other businesses to attend to. Hello? All the people who died eating bad food or smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol, nobody can count how many they are, isn't it? But when people are not taught any other way to enhance their life, if you've not been taught how to simply sit here blissed out, how can I tell you don't drink alcohol? How can I tell you don't do drugs? Because it is the aspiration of every life to be enhanced, one way or the other, isn't it? Every life wants to be enhanced one way or the other. So what is the way forward for the humanity? What is it that would work for all of us? People were saying marijuana, marijuana. When I went on the Youth and Truth campaign, the universities, they brought this up again and again because they want me to say yes. Then I said, see, I am not against marijuana, but would you like your Uber driver to be smoked out? Would you like your surgeon to have a spot and then cut you open? Would you want the pilot, the airplane on which you fly, to be smoked out and then fly you somewhere? Would you want that? No? Then how can you say you will come to the university smoked out? How can you say, I will go to the office smoked out, when you don't want a pilot smoked out, when you don't want a surgeon smoked out, when you don't want your driver smoked out, how the hell can you say you can do your job smoked out, whatever the hell you're doing, unless you're doing something utterly worthless? Isn't it? Anything that you're doing which needs a certain amount of application and incisive way of doing things, that means you must be at your best. You can't be in a daze and do those things. So, about corporates, see, the problem is, especially, you must watch this out. It's happening everywhere, but I think the infection comes from United States. We have this habit of calling all our compulsive behavior as our freedom. The moment you label your compulsive behavior as freedom, this is like in your kitchen, there are many ingredients, but they're all mislabeled, and you're a new cook who goes by the label. Salt is marked as sugar, sugar is marked as salt, flour is marked as something else. Now you cook, we can imagine how your cake will be, how your sambar will be. We can imagine that, isn't it? That's how life will become. If you call your compulsions as freedom, your life will go totally wacky. You have seen this in 60s once, hello? We will do what we want, we are free. Free everything, free love, free sex, free, everything free. All that happened is, in my generation, people who were around me, my own friends and people I knew well, at least my age group, at least 13 to 15 of them died before they were 35. Some overdosed, some drove their motorcycles into a rock or something, because free. Even then, we were all on motorcycles. I always spoke of control, because if you don't have control, you don't have freedom on two wheels. That's true with everything, actually. Hello? The more control you have, the more freedom you have with whatever you do with a machine or yourself, isn't it? If you talk about freedom, well, you will be free. You will not even be bound by the body, you will become free. That'll happen soon. Yes, it'll happen very soon. Athletes who are in heightened levels of physical fitness are just falling dead before they're 40. Why? Because chemically infused performance, isn't it? So whether it's physical performance or mental performance, if it is chemically infused, if it is not organic to your system, you will pay a price, and everybody around you will pay a price. Right now, they're telling me 38% of the European population is on psychiatric medication. 38%. Okay? That is some 115 or 120 million people. If you just pull out a few drugs from the marketplace, you know what'll happen? You are going on, you think, you know, America is seeing an epidemic of shootings. People think it's the gun. No, gun never shoots by itself, it's the people. Because one thing is, from an early age they're on alcohol or drugs or whatever, smallest things can throw them off. Smallest things can throw them off. You have seen everywhere in your life, maybe by your own experience or people around you or in the movies you have seen, people who are on drinks and drugs don't need much provocation to go violent, isn't it so? Huh? They need very little provocation or no provocation, simply they will go. So why are you surprised when you're selling so much alcohol, so much drugs? Why are you surprised the guns are firing? Nobody's addressing the real problem. Guns don't fire by themselves, it's the people, isn't it? Maybe this is an unpopular statement to make because country is divided on this. I'm not taking political stance, but realistically, guns don't fire by themselves. People who are on alcohol and drugs, they may be psychologically, medically normal, but any time they can flip, isn't it? A perfectly normal person, when he is drunk, can he shoot or no? Huh? Hello? A certified, normal, psychologically stable person, when he gets drunk or when he is drugged, he can simply shoot, isn't it? And most people are never off it. They're on it 24 hours in some scale. Maybe they're not fully drunk, but they're on it. They may not be totally out of control, but little provocation they will go. What? Somebody else drives at a low RPM, they go at a high RPM for every small thing. And if it's happening in the corporate office, that the morning they're snorting and coming, I can imagine the situations. People will pay a price. When it becomes prevalent, then there'll be a big price for the entire society and the nation.